nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.
Hot mix mixing.
Welcome to another Saturday evening with Ali Naimo Talk Show at Tempo Afrique TV. So today I want to bring you guys some updates of where do we go from here so far. I know a lot has been happening and now we're getting into that dark winter with the coronavirus and all the rates that are going up, and the election just kind of have everybody a little bit, it's a bit confusing. But there are some things happening as well, like as far as the transition and the lawsuit that's still going on. And so we're going to cover a little bit of what is going on here in the United States, what are the updates, and then I'm going to move forward to some of the international things that are happening and taking place and only getting worse at this point, and could be a beginning of something different, something that we don't really expect, more sorrows to come, or more things that we never really want to pursue. So what will be the normalcy of our lives, not just the United States, but across the world as well? And I'm going to bring you guys some update of the new war that just broke out in Ethiopia against Tigray, and Eritrea getting involved as well. And not only that, breaking news is one of the Iran nuclear scientists was assassinated, and see where that relationship stands with Israel. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start with the shutdown, and hopefully everyone Thanksgiving went really well, which was just a few days ago, and now we're in the Thanksgiving weekend. There has been a lot of odd restrictions. Some, majority of them that probably didn't make sense, but it's pretty much the restrictions of what we have to follow based on our governments and which state we live in, because every state have their own different guidelines and their own different rules. There's a lot of huge impact going on that I'm going to cover mostly from the New York and California as well. Well, there's still 2 other states that are not in restrictions at all, and you just live your life and everything is on you. You know, you get corona and you still want to go out and have a good time, and how effective it is in most people, where now the data are coming out that it is 99% recovery rate with coronavirus, especially with all of the youth and the people that are probably left now that the corona is not taking them down. So in some of the states, there's no restrictions. Everything is uplifted, and I'm going to, bring up a little bit more about that shortly. So going on with the shutdown. So as the pandemic turns many American lives upside down and leading to the darker winter, as Biden has said, who is the elect president as well, the government in New York, Mayor de Blasio, is shutting down New York with a second lockdown and cracking down restaurants and bars. So what is going on with that is, first they said you can have outdoor dining, and now they're saying that you can't have outdoor either. So that's one of the restrictions added on there, and including the indoor as well. So main likely the bars and the restaurants are not going to operate or function as much. It's pretty much pointless. And even all of their rents and their mortgages that they have to pay in order to keep their business up is really crushing a lot of small businesses there in New York. So the restrictions have gone higher, adding more outdoor dining and indoor dining affected as well. So millions are being stunned with few and no choices at all. Sad to say, but even though their lives depends on it. So there's been some recalls and people retaliating back with some of these that are happening. But many businesses where these people depend their lives on it is how they put their food on their table, how they pay their mortgages, their rent, and etc. Now it's at stake. So, and this is the outcome that would come with it, with so many lockdowns that are just so strict, and the lockdowns are spread out to 3 to 4 weeks long. So it's quite of a time. And 2.3 million American homeowners are now facing forced closures, and 64 million are facing evictions right now. That's a huge number. So 54 million Americans who are hitting the brink of losing their homes and possibly getting evicted. And there's these strict measures of lockdown and restrictions with no backup of any stimulus at all. And that's currently what's happening. And about 124,000 schools have been closed, mostly in New York, affecting 55.1 million students, leading them to fall behind. So many of these students are not able to operate in their school academic field as they fully would. And even with the coronavirus guideline or the procedures that we would have followed in order for these kids to still go to school, where you have half days in a week to go to school and then the rest online, now they removed that and it's completely shut down, including here in Minnesota as well. Burnsville local district schools are completely shut down. So everything is completely hybrid, which is still bringing out a lot of eye cries to the children and the parents as well, because they're mostly at home in the house all the time and trying to do everything online and trying to, interact with your teacher, ask questions, difficult things that the child would need is becoming more and more difficult and very much challenging every day as days goes by. This is what's going on, and this is potentially how we're going to end the year, the whole rest of the 2020. It's going to end with this dark winter that was already stated, with all these heavy restrictions and measures of lockdown, with the coronavirus being the center point of making all that happen. And of course, we have higher cases across the United States of coronaviruses, and there's a lot more testing going on. So you simply go in, get a test, and maybe the first test comes out positive. You take another test, it comes out negative. You take another test, it comes out negative. Some people are taking up to 3 tests a day, and then a couple of days later, 3 days later, you take another test. Not only that, the corona is mingling with the flu and the cold season, the regular viruses that we get. So this is ranking up the testing even much higher. So, but with the infection rate being 99%, is only that less than 1% or 0.5% of COVID victims that are dying. Most of the youth and under 45 are recovering at a highly rate or mostly asymptomatic. So, but we still have the lockdown. And with Governor Gavin Newsom, who is in California, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys probably heard about what's going on with him. And he has these really high restrictions right before the Thanksgiving, and where you can only have 3 families in a household during the Thanksgiving. And what that means exactly is either you have 3 people in the household, but if there were 4 people or 5 people, then you gotta isolate the other ones. Or you can have 3 different families that are coming from different households. So a lot of these restrictions still cause a lot of confusion over the holiday, and now falling into the weekend as well, with all these holiday sales going on, getting ready for the rest of the holidays like Christmas and all of those things. So there's a lot of confusion, and many of the citizens there just rejected, basically. Unless it extremely makes sense in some kind of way. So Also in California as well, restaurants and bars and all of those other essential places like salon and other places, haircut places, they're all shut down as well. So there's still that high rates of going up, and with smaller business being highly affected in California. So New York and California are highly rated right now. And there's a little contradiction there. So with Governor Newsom, who went to a restaurant, a very long table, a very high-end restaurant with multiple people, no social distancing involved, and face mask. Not much of face mask involved. So that brought the contradiction and just kind of have the people threw the rules out of the door. And where these democratic states and these democratic leaders are giving all of these highly restrictions, causing livelihood to the American citizens, and you still have that 500,000 people who are not going with it at all, because it's just a contradiction. It's a contradiction to, you know, you're telling people do this, but they're not following themselves. So that's what's been going on through this holiday, and how it's going to play out throughout the rest of the holiday, like Christmas. They're still going to try to pressure people to follow those restrictions, but I doubt it that half of the American people are pretty much not going to go with it. So that's the update there with the shutdown. And some of the backslash from the citizens itself say California is trying to tell its residents how many people they can have for the holiday and how long they're allowed to gather together, where they can gather, and that they must wear face masks. This was a tweet from one of the citizens. Another one reported saying this is madness, and if you support this, you're a disgrace and an embarrassment. So these were some of the backslash towards these governor restrictions going on there in New York and California, one of the most highly restricted states. Now, moving on. So the new shift that we are having in the American values as well, regular citizens have become more afraid to put up their Trump stickers where I had, because they could either get fired or attack. So where half of the citizens who are patriots are out there supporting the Constitution, the integrity of the United States election, and also our freedom, the freedom of the American citizens, where this country is known where you can worship, you can be whatever you want, and you know, grow, become business people, entrepreneurs. Your children can live in good neighborhoods and things like that. So there's a lot of that protest going on as well, where you have the left still are saying that, you know, there's symptomatic racism going on, there's oppressions going on, and system needs to be changed, and all of this American, I don't know, symptomatic issues needs to be redirected. So both sides have gone far to their end, you know, as far as we mentioned in some of the videos in our past, okay? But as this continues to go forward, the United States is not going to come back together. So you're still going to have the patriots that are still fighting for the freedom and the integrity of the country, where you still have the far left fighting for racial inequality and injustice system. So in which both of those are going on in the United States, that's for sure, where you have Black Lives Matters and you have the American Patriots, or no, Make America Great. Those two works together, okay? Where you have all the Democratic leaders who have been running this country for a very long time, promising promises that are not completely kept, okay? And using racism as an issue to change the country and bring on democracy in this country, okay? So that's an issue that's already going on, okay? But it's a matter of what's going to happen now once the transition is done and Joe Biden is completely in the office, running the office. There's a lot of, you know, people of color out there right now that are questioning their plans, because we never really heard their plans. We don't know what their agenda is, or all the promises, if they're going to be kept, you know. Mainly, as we know, Kamala Harris was elected because the history needed to be made to have the first woman of color, a black person, to be a vice president there. You know, where we have Obama that made the first black president of the United States. Now we have Kamala, who's making the first woman of color in the vice presidency. So that was a celebration there. So that is accomplished. Now it's a matter of continuing on and making these promises happen in order to change the symptomatic racism that are going on deep in the system. So a lot of people of color look up to them for that. Last time Obama was in the office, he didn't really do much, you know, where it could have been his chance to change what is going on in the most, you know, black neighborhood, black community. He didn't do much. So now it's a second try to see what Kamala can do. So will Kamala just be there as a color, or will she actually make progress and do changes? So we'll get a little more to the Kamala and Joe Biden in a moment. So from the far more radical left, the Democrat Congress and the AOC are making a blacklist of people that they are planning to go after. Anyone who have voted or supported Trump in the last 4 years, which sounds like a vengeance. And most of these blacklists are people that are working in the political field of the Republican Party, like with the lawsuit that is going on and all of these changes that the Republicans are continuing to fight for. So once AOC and the whole Democratic gangs goes into the White House, takes over, there's some blacklists that are being made to have comebacks of vengeance. But I believe the Trump accountability list is now taken down. So I don't really think they're going to follow through with it anymore. But you never know. These people could change their mind anytime they like. So just going to watch it as it goes. And there are normal people that actually want a country that is safe, stable, and voting against the socialism, which is slowly taking away the democracy, and against those that have undermined the constitutional freedom. So these are just normal citizens that just want to live their normal lives, you know, go to work, you're in a safe neighborhood, your children are well, and you're living your American values. So those people have come out as well, because now they're realizing that, oh, something is actually changing in the country. So, and if this is what socialism is like, being so radical and all the rhetorics and all these things going on, then there is time to bring out their voices. So that's what they have been protesting on. And now there's going to be another election protest in Georgia in a few days with the lawsuit that is going on there. And we'll keep an eye on it close, see how that goes. Nevertheless, this is what Bernie Sanders have said or proclaimed before. Nevertheless, not all Democrats are socialists, but all the Democrats are socialists. So in another way, you can go left, but when you go too far left, it becomes a little bit more radical, okay? So most of the Democratic Party is not all of them that are considered, you know, socialists or that actually want socialists, you know. But there are higher Democratic parties or leaders that are pushing this agenda extremely hard and making sure that they do make these changes and that they take place. Continue on to the transition. So as you guys probably heard the news last week, is there will be a transition. The GSA has approved the transition, where Trump said, you know, go ahead and start the transition process, but he still has not conceded and still going to continue with the lawsuits either way. But the transition is currently taking place right now to get Joe Biden ready for his presidency and the inauguration on January 20th. With the lawsuit, we don't know what the final decision is going to be, but they are supposed to have the voting if the 3 states that are currently being counted do not certify their state, then it's going to go to the electoral votes from each state by between December 8 and 13. So we're supposed to have an answer by then to know who is, if Trump has won his legal cases, if the election is going to be overturned, and also if Joe Biden is going to continue on and officially certify as the United States president. Going on with that, so the Biden team are beginning the transition of power to the White House to begin his reigns on January 20th. General Service Administration released on Monday to get the process going and to set up shop in the preparation for the inauguration day in just 57 days left, and all of this has been approved. So a few things left it that has already been in progress with Joe Biden. They have between now until then, he can start meeting with governor agencies and start planning on what is the next policies and all the things that they need to do. And Biden have already selected his public health experts, coronavirus task force, and Biden coronavirus advisors. So Biden is bringing back all the stuff that you don't hear about anymore in the media or that were taken out of the White House by Donald J. Trump. So the coronavirus task force, there's a whole new force that are going to be giving us the vaccine update, the lockdown, and if you guys heard one of the last presidential briefing from Joe Biden where he said there's a potential of having a national lockdown. So, and which there is an attempt, and all of this restrictions that are happening right now where the citizens are rebelling back, where half of the citizens are definitely not going to accept it whatsoever. And some of the states where they're taking it too far to the point that people's livelihood are being hurt, and also some people just don't really have much to say anymore but go with it. So that's one of the biggest front line, is to have the task force mandate shutdown and a face mask. So we'll see if that really pulls through. So we still have until January. Usually that's when the sickest time season that we know with flu in general we have, or until March. So otherwise, until then, there's not really a lot that goes on in winter. So if it happens either way. All right, continue on. There's some radical demands that are going on. And for a couple of statements of Joe Biden interviews, it shows that Biden plan is to sell out America, but media always has a way to covering up for him. So this was one of the statement articles that was written for him. And the governor of Georgia, or the mayor of Georgia, who spoke out loud and clear during the Georgia litigation with the lawsuits, and people are claiming that now we take Georgia and then we change the world. So what does that say to all Americans? It means that whatever we used to know about United States, or whatever United States is going to be completely changed. Okay, going back to the freedom of speech, owning guns, guns rights, building up your business, things like that. There's going to be a lot of effect that would take place, and the whole changes is pretty much a globalist plan. So there's a potential change that America is going to go back with all the foreign policies and all the foreign leaders working together, where there's a contribution, and our taxpayers will go towards those things. So it's no longer going to be about America first. And continue on. So the election in Georgia, which could be one of the most important turnout in the election history, as Kamala noted, their ticket will appeal Trump tax cuts. Which could cause anyone to be worried about paying more while the wages drop. like in Obama time. If you guys remember Obama time, for a lot of the immigrants, it was hard to find a job. It was very difficult to find a job, especially if you didn't have a bachelor or you worked a regular job. It was hard to find a job, and sometimes it would take 2 to 3 months to even find a job. And a lot of jobs, even what you are eligible or capable of doing, you would have to take whatever job is in front of you, and the pay at the time, it would be $7, $9, depending on where you work, okay? And to even get paid like $11 at the time, like it's based on a minimum of 2 years experience. So all of that could potentially come back where the borders are open, we'll have more immigrants coming into the country, and most of the jobs that are going to be taken up, especially if you have a job right now, it's best to just keep your job and really work hard towards it, because in the near future, who knows how many jobs are going to be lost, especially with coronavirus and all these businesses that we are losing as well. It's going to be very hard to find a job in the near future. It's going to be. And it just makes the competition a lot easier where employees can even drop their rate. They don't have to pay you that much of the high wages, except where only the corporates are soaring and actually doing pretty good in this country. So to even get that job, we're going to go back to where you'll need to have a bachelor and all of those things. So those are potential effects that could take place here in this country. And also continue on where a lot of the effects is a parent, a gun owner, a cop, a person of faith, and an unborn child. I have a call? Okay. Let's check. I think I might have a caller. The headphones. All right. Bear with me, guys. We have a caller here, and I'm going to try to see if there's any way I can hear them. So, okay, I heard a beep. Are they able to? I heard another beep. All right, you can bring them on now. I don't know how they're supposed to come on.
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, hello?
Hi.
Well, I just want to say, I want to say a few things regarding about what you just said.
Okay.
It's a possibility to allow me, so
Okay.
I want to run you.
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
I want to say during President Barack Obama administration,
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely and totally agree with you on that.
Oh.
Regarding the immigration too as well. A lot of people forgot about what President Obama did so far.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during his 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So Obama deporting 1 million alien immigrants from this country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important to mention that to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of immigrants that left this country because Obama deported during his administration too as well.
Mm. I kind of heard about that, but I never really hear people talk about it or dialogue about it. And that he was one of the people who deported a lot of people.
Yes, he did it.
Mm.
His administration did it. But, you know, the news, they mentioned that. The fake news don't talk about that too as well.
Because even with the employment rate of here in the United States at his time, I kind of forgot about it in overtime until I was talking to some people that remember Obama time. And that's where the memories start to flash back. You know, it was a really tough time for a lot of us here to find jobs, to be able to work a good paying job, especially if you didn't have a degree or a bachelor. I wasn't sure how it even affected the people with bachelors, but I know some of the people with bachelors as well could not even find a job in their credential field. And I don't know how high or how overrated it was, but I remember some of those experiences.
Yeah, that is true also.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is true. That is true also, because Obama just said when he came, he was going to give a lot of jobs to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know the Bush won and the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And one of the big mistakes that he made during his administration too, as well, when he was the president,
Mm-hmm.
he promised the American people that he will, you know, send the troops back home from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you remember the speech when he
Mm-hmm.
was and he said he will do it. That it's time for them to come back home and to stay with their family.
Mm-hmm.
When he came, he sent more troops back to
over there.
Afghanistan. Do you remember that?
I remember a little bit. I was still a little bit young at the Obama time, but I remember a lot of troops that were in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Even my brother
And
was in the military, and he was there as well.
he sent a lot of troops to Afghanistan, and the war was supposed to be hands up. Remember that we spent almost like 15 up to 16, 17 trillion dollars for 6 years in Afghanistan and Iraq and the war during Bush administration. And you come and you send a lot of more troops to Afghanistan. And, you know, there's a lot of people was passed away with a lot of conflict out there. And, you know, then you have to spend a lot of money and spend a lot of equipment to Afghanistan. However, remember that's the practice of the citizenship of this country.
Mm-hmm.
So the economy went down a little bit because they want to send a lot of troops. When you send a troop out to seas, you have to make a lot of investment for the soldier to survive out there.
Yeah.
So that's like one of his big mistakes he's made also. And to come back to what you just said a little earlier, President Barack Obama, more than any president of the United States, sent more alien immigrants back home. As in the history of this country, is on a record. I'm not saying that's the Homeland Security, like, you know, Homeland Security website saying that. So you can look at that record too as well. And
Yeah, I even know about 4 people that were sent to Africa at the time.
Right. And I didn't understand, but somebody who had a father from Kenya come from nowhere to come in this country, hey, he should have known better the situation of the alien immigrant.
Yes.
But he deported 1 million alien immigrants out of this country, and they all went back home. It's
That's a
shame.
large number.
And people don't talk about it.
No.
The news don't talk about it. But they always focus about the speech of the war Donald Trump said, which was very unacceptable for me.
Yeah.
So that's one of the two things that you pointed out was very important. What the paying attention to what you just said, to refresh your mind on that, and, you know, explain that to the rest of the people in your show. So thanks. That's one of the two things I want to mention to you during President Barack Obama's administration. But if you have some question or you have something to say, I'm still there, you know.
Well, before you go, there were some things that I put on my note that I was going to bring up as well. With the Biden plan that is taking in, because Obama is going to be involved in Biden plan as well. You know, because now there's this, you know, excitement going on that we're going to have Obama and Kamala Harris, and so there's a lot of expectations of them of what they're supposed to do as people of color. So they are reversing some of the policies from Trump administration, which is to halt deportation for 100 days. In another way, to suspend activity of deportation. So it kind of contradicts to Obama time deporting a lot of people, but now with Biden time, they're saying that they're not gonna deport people. Which I don't know if it's just another saying going out there, or if that's really a part of their policies, or they're just trying to go against the policies of deportation that was already there. And then leaving a cap, lifting up the cap on the refugees. So in another way, meaning the borders are more easily to come into the United States. It's more easy to enter into the United States. Where in Obama time, it was easier for some of these terrorist groups to enter into the United States as well. So it's almost like things are reversing back to what they were, you know, before 5 years ago. And now it's just all going to happen again. And it's hard right now for people to even know what to believe in anymore as well, because the country is completely divided in half, where the far left are completely far left, and they have been, you know, presented these radical ideas and things that are going on, and do not believe that these things will happen because they're too far focused into having a black person in the White House, or having the first first black, first woman of color in the White House, without realizing that some of these policies, what do they potentially look for? Because if they don't realize that these policies could take place and could hurt them even more, it really degrade the inspiration of having someone there based on a color. So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. And then one of the other policy was the troops could potentially be in foreign countries for 4 more years. Because I don't know if you heard recently, they were supposed to, I think Trump wanted to bring the troop back, but then once Joe Biden takes over the office, the process was to still bring them back, and I don't know if it was just for the holiday or to completely take them out of Afghanistan. But there's a potential that their policy is to keep them there for another 4 more years. And now there's a lot of destructions coming up. Probably in the next few months, there's going to be more war going on, like the one that just broke out with Iran, Israel, Ethiopia, Yemen, Sudan, all these other Middle Eastern and Arabian countries.
Yeah, I read that a little earlier, I think yesterday or today, and some article, but I was not quite sure because I was so much focused about the election fraud that was going on right now.
Right.
So, you know, I read it and then I passed it, but that was not really paying attention. Like, up to now, that much focus on that. On that particular thing you just mentioned. But I read it a little earlier, yesterday or today, something like that. An article. But, you know, and also, I don't know if you know the Charles Soros.
Yes.
Yeah, he was involved with a fraud too as well. He just got arrested like a couple of days ago in Philadelphia. They say I called him about a hero and in the news. He did a couple of fraud, electronic fraud. He was involved with that too as well. But he's in jail right now.
Wow.
So, you know, something ain't right. So I'll wait to see what's going to happen, what exactly he has to say, and what's going on with India. So, you know.
Yeah, next week I definitely want to cover more about Biden cabinet choices. Because right now he does have a list of all of his choices, and some of them are also from the Obama administration as well.
Right.
So this week, my plan is to look more deeper into it and then present it next weekend. So then I can have more focused topic on this. So I hope you'll, join me on it. Because I think it's very important for people to understand who are these people,
Right.
what their background is, so that they can have an idea, what they voted for, like what's the next America 4 years is going to be like.
Right. But what on term to Trump regarding the immigration in America, I completely, totally, 100% I agree with him on that, for sure. Not doubt about it.
Yeah.
Politics regarding immigration in this country for Trump, according to what Trump said, his politics, specifically on the immigration, including in terms of the immigration reform too as well, I completely agree with him on that too. Very, very agree.
Yeah.
People can come in this country, which is fine. It's, it's very, it's normal for me. But as long as they can officially in the country with the passport, stuff in the airport, the fee, I don't care what type of visa it is, as long as you're in the airport, the same something in your passport to say that you here to let the folks in the authority of the airport and country that you're. That's good, better than jump the wall and have a brink of drugs, strike, and killings. Officer of the border between Mexico. That's one of the reasons why he's very tough on immigration. A lot of people think Donald Trump is racist, but it's not the case. You know what I'm saying? He's a president. One of his important duties in the country is to save the country, the nation, including the citizens of the country. We don't know exactly what they come up here to come for in this country legally like that. So, you go places that require you at least to get a visa to enter to somebody else's country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But by saying that, it'll make you that you're a racist person. I don't think if you go on Mexico, you will jump the wall. You want to get the visa to enter to Mexico, be in the airport, stop in the airport, have stamp and your passport, and go in Mexico, do what you got to do. So this is the same thing applies to you in the United States. So I remember that.
Yeah.
September 11th. So there's a lot of things going on right now.
It was. September 11 was definitely one of the most wake-up call of what was coming into the United States without legal process.
We have some background come from somewhere, that's for sure. We have some background from somewhere for sure for some country. But the administration of this country, including the Homeland Security, they have a law, federal law, and a policy to tell the folks you want to come, this is what exactly you have to do to apply to come in the country. Simple as that. It's not that much complicated to understand that. But now the media just don't like Donald Trump, make him as a person who's racist, and he's tough on immigration. So they flip around, turn around and say he's a racist person the way he speaks. He might be going to be tough on immigration. The law is the law. Nobody's above the law in this country.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that too. I guess my perspective on it was, he wanted to focus on fixing America first. There was so much going on, like the employment being built back up, American people being able to get a job, and all of those things. I saw that was a lot of his focus, that in order to have anybody coming in from any part of the world, you could still come in, but you have to go through the process, the legal process. And I think, the left didn't understand that at all. They just assume that, let everybody in, and then it's a free country, we'll go from there. But yes, it's a free country. As the people living in the country, you come into this country where you are free to worship whatever you want to worship, be able to grow as far as you like to go, and live by your choices, and the choices you make, you'll be accountable for it. Where even a lot of these immigration, and I'll say that too from like things that I've seen and experienced as well, is there was a lot of marriage immigrations that was coming into this country a lot. And most of the husbands that are here commonly in the United States, when they bring their wives here, then they use that totalitarian culture, the Marxist culture on them, and knowing that these girls don't even know that they have a freedom now that they're in the United States. But still, they'll still try to control them and still carry that culture in here. So it's just adding more corruption in a free society where we can already live, a good life that we choose to. Even including fraud marriages as well, with like Ilhan Omar, who is marrying her brothers, bringing them here, or things that are going on in that type of community. There's a lot of that going on, and it's just growing bigger and bigger, and people are so used to it that now that it's being changed and being taken away, that it just kind of kills their plan, But with Donald Trump putting that in process, it's really saving America from a situation that could have gone even further worse, because nobody had the control to realize that I'm here in America, I have freedom, I should live my life. Why do I need to worry about bringing someone else here that I'm not even going to care about later, So there's a lot of those different things going on in the immigration community, the minorities community as well. And now we're seeing all of the madness and all the corruption that are taking place, even with our first sign of the 9/11 as well. But my biggest concern is I feel like now with the transition of presidency, that a lot of them are going to come back. And if that's not the case, then maybe it's a different kind of worse,
Well, yeah. I'm not trying to cut you off, but,
Yeah, no, go
that's
ahead.
very important what you say. You see, this is some conversation I had with my friend yesterday. But, don't, like, it's going to continue. What, if Joe comes, and remember that, he used to be the VP 8 years ago.
Yeah, the vice president.
So when he comes, he's going to continue what President Barack Obama did it with him when he was a vice president.
Okay.
Now he's going to change a little bit because he's a president. So it's going to continue. So it's going to be worse. And this country was going to go down completely.
Oh,
because
okay.
He said that during his debate with Trump. He said, if I become a president, I will go bring the alien immigrant, the people from out the seas, if we'll see what exactly we can do for them, and they're going to come up here. But that that's very wrong. I'm going to mention to you, I don't have nothing to the alien immigrant. But, we have more than 20 alien immigrants in this country that officially the Homeland Security, though. You and I, we don't even know the rest of the people who is not officially know to as well. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of problem right now in this country.
There is.
Purpose of the safety and security, September 11th, issue with Iran, issue with Iraq, issue with Afghanistan. We love to have a lot of alien immigrants to come in this country to have a better life, get a job, be stable, and send money back home, and do the best they can do, to take their portion an American dream too as well.
Yeah.
And a country who don't have
a foreign is not a country. Because the foreign people come in this country, work so hard, and pay their tax. And I truly understand that. I respect that too as well, and I take that very in consideration too. But it's the way that the Democratic Party are doing the politics in terms of the immigration reform and immigration politics and policy. How would they want to start a procedure to let the alien immigrants from overseas from any country to come in this country like that? It's very unfair, and that's not right. And that costs a lot of money. A lot of money. First of all, you have to enter her illegally, not even legally to the country, legally. That costs us a lot of money. And, some of them come, as you know as well, a lot of people, what they have a house, what they call the project house, built by the government.
Yeah.
They pump up the baby, they have a kid, which is fine. And, they have a Medicaid. They get covered
And then
completely.
that's another thing too that you mentioned that because social system is hindering them too.
That's your tax. That's my taxes. That's a lot of people's taxes. Some of them, for the people that I personally know, guess what? They don't have no job.
Yeah.
Because they're dependent on the government. The government coverage.
Yeah.
Medicaid, food stamps, you stay on public house, and they get $300-$400 checks. So when you have those kind of privilege, you have those kind of things around you. You're gonna think you're gonna be able to waste your time again to be online or file an application or start out there looking for the job? Absolutely not. Because you already have everything. Then the government pay your house as well.
You don't need to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it costs probably like $16 or $17 billion, and this is very unfair. So, when you look at there, you take somebody who's single, who's struggle, because the government feel like, you don't have a family, you're single. Through that, you have a job. But guess what? You pay your tax every year. Every time you get paid, they take your tax. You work so hard. You pay bills. You try to do your best to be the best person in this society. But at this point, you have to pay your tax at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But, that's sad. And you have two people, or you have a female, or you have a guy, they don't work, they don't do anything, especially the female who got a baby, who got the kids. The first thing coming out of their mind, I'm a mom of 2 children, I'm a mom of 2, 3, 4 kids, I got kids, I have to teach them. Okay, the government is going to help you to push a little bit to help you out since you have the kids. Yeah. Because we might going to face a lot of problems too. It happened. But I think after 6 months, that's my perfect thing I give them. That should have helped them a little bit. Then after that, they're going to be in the home. Because however, this is our taxes that we pay for. So what exactly are you doing, or you have been doing? What exactly are you doing to get a better life for yourself and provide for your kids and feed your family? Are you going to still there, dependent on the government? That's very unfair. So that's one of the reasons I love Donald Trump on that. And they don't realize that this is our tax that we...
They don't at all. And
right.
It's only going to get worse because, more people that are getting the system and the government system, those money are coming off other people. And they're pricing on the student debt being pushed away, and they don't realize that who's going to be paying those money, It's going to be the people who are paying tax dollars, so which explains a lot more where the tax rates goes up, and while still contradicting that argument, saying that it's only the rich people or people who make $400,000 and above that are going to be paying those high taxes. But it still doesn't explain a lot of the other, system that are going to be paid, even by the regular people. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll get a little glimpse of what our next 4 years
If you're single, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's true. That is if the court.
Yeah, you pay more tax
Mhm.
for people who got a kid. And when you lose your job, most of the time, you have to have the government protect you because they feel like you're single, you don't have no kids. It's
Yeah.
very unfair. But at the meantime, you have been paying your taxes to people who got a kid. This is tax money they take to take care of these people. Man, what about you? You have been working for years. You got a problem. Don't you think the government have to do something for you?
Yeah.
Very unfair.
Hello.
Yes, hello?
Yeah, it got cut off for
Yeah.
a second then.
Yeah. So that's very unfair. That's why, again, I don't have a name to, but it's the way we not get treated very well, especially the single people, because I feel like we don't have a keys. So, you know, but people who got a key, the majority of them, I don't know if you've been in New York City. I've been in New York City. They have a lot of bunch of project house out there. If you go into that neighborhood, you go to Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, they have a lot of project house built and paid completely from the government.
Yeah.
You see people in the neighborhood all day long. And I asked my son, those people don't have a job. They don't go to school. They don't have no occupation. There's something they have to do at least to get money to survive for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, this house, you see, it's a project house built by the government. Well, that's a good question to ask. They don't do anything. Yeah, because I was like a couple of weeks out there. I said, this is some people are saying they want a building in a week. I mean, I took my vacation. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we waste of time. Those people born and raised here, those buildings you see, will stay up for a long time. They don't have no job. The government pay for everything, so and they feel like they don't have to put anything in place, which is very, very unacceptable. And guess
That
what?
is true.
The project houses you see all over the country, across the country, is you and not and other people taxes.
Yeah.
Which is
That is
correct.
All right, well, we're coming to the end of our stream here. I definitely like to bring one of these topics up in the near future, you know, as we go forward of what is America and how we can make things better, or at least, you know, wake up the community more. And I really appreciate you having me on and continue all of these things, because these are important things to talk about, and I don't think a lot of people do talk about them, you know, at all. And you know, like depending on the system, where if you work hard you could do more, you know, things like that. And that the system, yes, is something that is available to help you get on your feet. But once you get on your feet, you know, don't get too comfortable and just sit on it, you know, for a very long time, and things like that. All right. Well, I really appreciate you having coming on and joining me on this.
Trump.
Yeah.
That's why I supported Trump for the decade. Decade. They call it a decade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was supporting him for that and for some sort of thing that I'm making up to too as well. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah. You doing that every Saturday?
Every Saturday at 2 o'clock, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna join you next Saturday, hopefully by the grace of God.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. This was our episode, and we're going to continue to talk more about things that are going on here in the United States and how we can move forward better and waking up the far left even more of what is to come. And brought to you today by Ellie and I Will Talk Show. So follow us again next Saturday, and I'll continue on with the rest of the topic that I was actually supposed to be mentioning about what is going on around the world. But stay tuned for more. Have a good night.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.